Okay, today I want to talk to you about what's the most important thing in a business. The most important thing in a business is not the type of entity you are. The most important thing in a business is a business model, how you make money, why people pay you and why they pay you, and for what. What do they get? They don't just get the stuff from you, right? They don't just get your widget or accounting service or whatever, right? They get something from you. And that's the feeling of being taken care of or not going to jail when it comes to taxes, or this dopamine feeling if they're buying something, a thing, right? And so you have to be very clear as to what it is that your client is buying before you can actually sell it to others, right? Because, and this is applicable to existing businesses just like it is applicable to future businesses, right? Or those starting out. And that's normal. So typically, the first question, the most frequently asked question that I get from a prospective client is, what type of entity should I be? Or they already come to me with, oh, I formed an LLC. Well, great. This is like step 7. What about the first 6 steps first? You know, attorneys love LLCs because it's limited liability and all of that jazz, but if unchanged, an LLC will cost you the most amount of money in tax. That's a fact. And so typically this is, like I said, question 7, as opposed to question 1. Question 1 should be, how are you going to be making money? What are you going to sell? Why would they buy from you? And why would they buy in general? Like, what are they getting? Typically, like I said, the first question clients ask me is, what type of entity should I be? And I often bring them back to, that's not the question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is, what's your business model? And here's an example of that. Friends of mine and now clients of mine came to me many years ago, probably 5 years ago at this point, and said, well, we want to open this platform to connect distributors and direct stores, and we have experience in this industry and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you want to build an online platform, so a tech startup. Okay. And so when I asked them how they're going to make money, who's going to pay them and why, which side of the equation, so they want to eliminate the middleman, right? And so who would pay them and why, they can answer that question. And so that's a flaw in the business model to begin with. And so typically the first few questions I want to know answers to if somebody's starting a business is, what's the business model? Are they partnering up with somebody, and what does that look like? I'm a big opponent of partnerships unless they're inactive partnerships, meaning that one person is driving the bus and then everybody else is just sitting in the bus kind of as a passenger. And then I also want to know whether or not they will seek investors. So number 1, business model. Number 2, partners. Number 3, investors. And then I want them to create some budgets, some numbers, right? Put some numbers together so that we understand what's realistically something we can make, and is it even worth it? A lot of people, let's say a florist, right, leaves the job, wants to do their own thing, start doing it, and then a year later figure out that they've been losing money all this time. Not something I want to happen to you, and not something I want to happen to anyone. Before you do this, understand how much money you're going to be spending, and whether how much money you're going to be making per hour if you count all of the hours that you've put in. I had a client a number of years ago. They started a daycare catering business, right? And so what they found 2 years later is that they've spent a ton of time every week and every day to cook, to shop, to deliver the food, and they've made 2 people, right? 2 partners made $4,000 in 1 year total. That's 2,000, but that's work every week and every day. And so this is something that you have to consider, you have to understand and know what to do with. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this today. And I hope that I've encouraged you to do this better, to understand what you're doing, and to, even if you're in business already, to really understand how you're making money because once you spend some thinking time on that, you can actually add more revenue streams to yourself. You know, in the next video, I'll talk to you about recurring and one-time income and the importance of both. Okay? And I hope this was useful. And this is Tatiana Sawyer, and I'll talk to you soon.